Because for that also there is a reason. Because 9 is supreme number, fine, I tell you. Why? 9 is supreme number. 10 is even more better number. Why? Means 10 is a number which is going to give you the meaning infinite. Infinity. Infinity is the meaning what you are going to get it from the word 10. Why? Means 10 means in Samskrita we have a saying Shatam Dasha Sahasrancha Sarvam Akshaya Vachakam. It is called as Akshaya. Who is there? Just coming. Why man? BSc or YSc? अरे बैठो ना बाहर क्यों खड़े हैं? Okay. So there is a saying that Shatam Dasha Sahasrancha Sarvam Akshaya Vachakam. It is infinity. The number infinity. What I am telling you, this human body, this knowledge is infinite. That is going to represent in by the number 10. That's why I come to the number 10 to list. I can list you all the 10 systems. Okay. So those systems, number of systems are going to give you the infinite knowledge. The more you go into the depth, it makes you even puzzled more. Why? Means Shatam Dasha Sahasrancha Sarvam Akshaya Vachakam. As I told you all yesterday, Kannada, all Kannadigas, now I am going to prove you that you don't know Kannada. We use this word. What is that word we are going to use? That is different. For this context I am talking. Sarvam Akshaya Vachakam. Not only that, that was one instance where I proved. But this is another instance where all Kannadigas, they speak this word but without knowing the meaning. 10 ಜನ ಸೇರಿದ್ರು 100 ಜನ ಸೇರಿದ್ರು 1000 ಜನ ಸೇರಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. What do you mean by that? 1000 plus 6 ಅಂತನಾ? 100 ಅಂದ್ರೆ 100 plus 6 ಅಂತನಾ? Exactly 106. 16 means what? 10 plus 6? No. It means infinite.
Akshaya.
It is, that means asankhya it is. Depending on the situation, you are going to use this number. 16, 100, 1000. That means it is not 1000 plus 6. It is asankhya. Tumba anta adara artha. So the same thing is adopted here in listing the human body systems also. So that means 10 system means it is infinite. It is giving you infinite. Now you understand why my way of teaching is 10 system, not 9. Is it not? So it always gives the meaning. Number 10 means it is infinity. 100, 16, 1000 ಜನ ಸೇರಿದ್ರು. 1000 ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1000 plus 6. It is more, many. That means you cannot count. Even that, the systems in this human body is going to keep us very much puzzled. So that's why number 10. What are those number 10 systems? I am going to just tell you now. You just note it down. So first one is musculoskeletal system. Second one is endocrine system. Third one is respiratory system. Fourth one is digestive system. Fifth one is cardiovascular system. Sixth one is excretory system. Then seventh one is nervous system. Eighth one is reproductive system. Ninth one is lymphatic system. 10th one is immune system. So these are the 10 systems. These are the 10 systems in our body which makes our body a big infinite puzzle it is. So that's why I list all these things. In all MBBS and BAMS colleges they don't teach you all these things. How many systems? So many systems. Why number? Why that number? They also don't know. But in yoga this is a difference. What you are going to learn in yoga is something more than what you get it in a conventional college like MBBS or BAMS. As and when I go into the depth of this anatomy, you will come to know how this is a big puzzle. It is a very big mystery. In the history of human civilization, it is a very big mystery that the human body is very much a big puzzle. Okay? I will let you know now. So this is how the whole body is structured. Vault, we call this as vault. This is skull cap, what we call it as. This is facial skeleton. This is mandible. See, this is called as mandible, lower jaw. What we do every day, open your mouth and close your mouth. That's how. So here also we have put one spring action. So that's why it's going to open and close. We have to. Is it not? So this is how lower jaw we call it as mandible. Upper jaw we call it as maxilla. Even BDS people you know very well, better. Only one BDS student. Huh? She's not there? Oh, you were BDS. Okay. So maxilla. Upper jaw is maxilla, lower jaw is mandible. Okay. This is facial skeleton and this is vault. Vault means skull cap. Now the head is connected with the rest of the body with the neck. That we call it as cervix, cervical bone. Okay, so we have the connection with this vertebral column. Usually I used to bring all the bones separate also to show you, but unfortunately now it is not there with me. It is there in my Eknath Bhavan city office, because I teach there YIC, no? For them also to teach, I have taken the bone sets for them. So it is there, okay? So anyhow, you just imagine all these things, because what I show you from here, the opening and everything, that is very interesting. What is there inside? That is, but unfortunately I can't remove this and show you. So this is how, and are you seeing this? What is this here in the skull? What do we call this as? Sutural bone. That is the sutures. We have the suture. Naturally, we have the suture. This is called as lambdoid suture. Okay, here you are seeing another suture, which is going to come here from here. And there is another suture here, see, which is connecting from here to here, from this ear to this ear. Is it not? From here to here, see this one. This is coronal suture, this is sagittal suture, sagittal suture. Where sagittal suture and coronal suture meet, what is that point called as? Yes, they are telling us bregma. Maybe Henry Gray might have kept that name. You know what is the name for that in our ancient anatomy? Brahmarandra. Same bregma only became Brahmarandra. Brahmarandra only became bregma, because Brahmarandra is there from the time immemorial. Bregma is the name given by maybe Henry Gray. Bregma only became Brahmarandra, and this has got lot of spiritual aspects. Lot of spiritual aspects are there in Brahmarandra. All of you know in your family, when you have small kids, you know, you see this area, very soft, because the sutural bones are not united yet. The parietal bones are separate, the frontal bone is also separate, where the bregma is not formed at all. This is the place in our intrauterine life in the baby, when the baby is in mother's womb. The soul enters through this only. The jiva, which you call it as the spirit, the soul, enters this, because it is told in Ayurveda, Garbhasharira, you know, where 5th month, 3rd month, what happens, 1st month, what happens, everything is mentioned. But in modern embryology, what you are going to see in that, all these models which are there, they are all cell models, you know, from a single cell to multiple cell, mitosis, meiosis, so 14th day, 20th day, what happens inside, everything. These are all embryological models, which is explained there, right? But when the soul enters exactly, at which month the soul enters, that is also very important. 3rd month is the month where the heart is going to develop at the end of 3rd month. So when the heart develops, the soul also enters inside. Because we used one action in our common life. When you say I or main, mera, अपना है, मेरा है, तो कहाँ आपका हाथ कहाँ जाएगा? Where do you touch the body? When you say it is mine, देखो छाती पे हाथ लग रहा है ना? Even if you are literate or illiterate, you may be an uneducated person also. Even a small baby who don't know ABCD also will say that it is mine, मेरा है. कोई मेरा है नहीं बोलेगा, कोई मेरा है नहीं बोलेगा, कोई मेरा नहीं बोलेगा कहीं लग. आपका हाथ automatically it goes here. That means in your subconscious you know that you are here. This is very important action what you are going to do in your subconscious mind. So when you do this, when you say that it is mine, ये मैं, मेरा, मेरा, कोई बहुत बड़ा अहंकारी लोग होते हैं ना, मैं हूँ इसलिए चल रहा है दुनिया, इतना छाती पे मारते हैं कि टूट जाएगा छाती. Yeah, they are something, you know, that is ahankara, it says, is it not? But the soul is here only. The soul, the place of soul in this human body, it is in your subconscious mind, you know that you are here. Is it not? That's why you touch. What is that organ you are touching here? You have any idea? Anatomy? What is that organ you are touching here? Very important organ. It is an endocrine gland. I will give you the clue. Yes. It is the thymus gland which is you are touching here. You know where is thymus gland located? Unfortunately, medical schools, you know, they don't teach much about this thymus gland. Because they don't know anything. Only Yoga Shastra can reveal you what is that thymus gland is. You may know just 4 lines, four statement is given in the textbook also, in anatomy and physiology. They themselves accept, modern medical authors, they accept that we don't know much about this mystic organ, they say. It's a mystic organ. Thymus gland is a mystic organ. I have dissected more than 50-60 cadavers. I have not seen not even a single thymus gland anywhere, because it's going to disappear. As the soul leaves the body, the thymus gland also disappears.
Oh God.
Oh, these are some of the beautiful things you don't know about your body. But when the baby takes birth, the thymus gland will be very large. The size of the thymus gland is very large at the time of the birth. As the baby grows, the thymus gland also grows. At the age of 7, it is going to stop its growth. 5 to 7 years, that's all. After 7 years, to 70 years and 80 years, it will be reducing its size every year by year, day by day, it's going to become. At the age of 80 years, it will be so small. And the moment the soul leaves the body, the thymus also disappears. This is something mystic organ in our body. That's why whenever you touch your hand here, mera. So that means you are touching the place where soul is residing. How, where it is written, the soul is residing in thymus gland? That I will tell you through Upanishad quotations, definitely. This is what you should know in yoga. Otherwise, मक्की का मक्की किताब में जो लिखा है उसको रटने से कोई फायदा नहीं है. Don't just read the books, knowledge, bookish knowledge. There is something beyond that. That which is going to get only by this knowledge. And I will tell you much more about this later. Okay? See, I will tell you. Wait. I told you, no? Don't interrupt. If you interrupt me, you will be the losers. You will divert me. See, I am showing you now the thymus gland, where it is located. Look into my index finger. This is the place. Exactly. Just behind the sternum, in the retrosternal area. Just behind the sternum, if you just remove the sternum, just behind in the superior mediastinum. I don't know how many of you know this word, superior mediastinum. So this is the place where the thymus gland is located. Our chest is divided into 3 portions: superior mediastinum, middle mediastinum, and posterior mediastinum. Superior, middle, and posterior. In the superior mediastinum, just behind the sternum, thymus gland is located. Exactly, the heart is located in the middle mediastinum. All of you know, heart is located in the middle mediastinum, and the posterior mediastinum is separate, right? So that's how the conscious, which says that soul which is there, which is going to reside in the thymus gland. Where in the thymus gland, I will tell you later, right? So thymus gland is a mystic organ. Like that, there is another mystic gland, thymus gland. Thymus gland is mystic gland. Another gland called as pineal gland is also a mystic gland. Pineal gland, where it is not pineal, it is pineal.
Pineal.
No, pineal, Baba. Pineal bol raha hu na. It is pineal gland, not pineal gland. It is like a pine tree. It's like a pine tree. The gland, a small gland in the brain. Where in the brain? That I will tell you later. Okay, it is not pineal, it is pineal gland. Okay, so this is how the thymus gland is located here. Now I will go to the organs here, the structures which are going to connect to the neck. So this is cervical vertebra. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. This is only called as neck. Out of all these vertebra, there are 33 to 34 vertebrae. Is it not? Cervical 7, thoracic 12, lumbar 5, sacral 5 and coccygeal 3 to 4. Together it is 33 to 34 vertebrae. So this is cervical, this is thoracic, this is lumbar, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. Lumbar. This is sacrum, a triangle bone which is triangular in nature, we call it as sacrum. Trikasti in Ayurveda, what we call it as. And this is the tailbone. Tailbone, what we call it as coccyx, maybe 3 to 4. So together there are 32 to 34 vertebrae. They are all separate till here lumbar region. Sacrum is fused and coccyx is also fused. So all these vertebral columns, vertebrae, they are all there. But none of the vertebrae is named except for the C1 and C2. What is C1 called as and C2 called as? C1 is atlas, C2 is axis. You all should just browse in the Google and look at the figure of these. Why that is only named? Why that is only named? Why not all the other vertebrae? C1 is called as atlas, C2 is axis. Atlas and axis. Atlas is going to get articulated with the skull, base of the skull, that we call it as occipital condyles. C2, that is axis. Axis is the one which is going to keep the head in a particular position. You know, we are going to rotate the skull, is it not? There is a joint called as pivot joint, P-I-V-O-T. Pivot joint means on a structure where something is revolving like this, is it not? So that's why we call it as axis. We can compare this beautiful to this universe. Atlas means what? The globe. Axis means what? The earth rotates on its axis, is it not? It is on the same axis. I told you, only in Ayurveda we have this statement, this body is an epitome of this universe. That's why I told you Pindanda and Brahmanda. That concept of Pindanda and Brahmanda is mentioned because this human body is an epitome of this universe. So that's why earth rotates on its axis, is it not? So this is also called as axis. I don't know why he named this as atlas and axis. It is very, very useful for understanding what yoga is here. But unfortunate that it is not taught in MBBS or BAMS or all BSMS, BHMS, whatever pati you have. So where you don't get this knowledge, why it is named as atlas and axis? It is on this axis where even the head rotates, is it not? You should know. If you have internet, you can just browse the figure how that axis is. The structure of axis is, it's like a tortoise. The head of the tortoise is called as odontoid process. We have an odontoid process, what we call it as. It's like a head of the tortoise. Axis looks like a tortoise. Atlas is the place where the skull is going to just articulate and it helps for rotation. And the axis is the one which is going to rotate. So the axis, if you just open it, it's having a structure, this much structure. So that we call it as odontoid process. That odontoid process, it looks like kurma. It looks like kurma. Kurma is a concept in our Dashavatara, is it not?
Yes.
The same thing I am going to tell you later in endocrine system. Okay? So it is having very, very much connection between this kurma like structure and this axis, which is looking like, definitely like a tortoise. It's like a tortoise. What is this tortoise doing in our body? It has got a wonderful relationship between the mind, the concept of yoga, and this structure called as odontoid process, right? Atlas and axis. The rest of the bones, they are all separate. In this vertebral column only, the spinal cord runs. We have to cut all these laminae, these spinous process, transverse processes, we have to cut and expose the spinal cord from here to here. I will tell you another one beautiful shocking statement. Where is your brain located? Show me your brain. Where is your brain? Oh, you say only in your head, but brain is also here also. Your brain is here also, because spinal cord is nothing but extension of brain only. Spinal cord is nothing but extension of brain. The whole cranial cavity is going to accommodate brain, and brain is going to come out of this. Can you see the rod here? In the place of this rod, the spinal cord will be there. It is going to come out. Once the largest foramen in the human body, we call it as foramen magnum. Okay, that is the largest hole in the skull. Once the structure, the brain which is connecting to the brainstem, it's going to come out. Till then we call it as inside. It is midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. Once the structure comes out of the foramen magnum, we call it as spinal cord. Till then it is called as medulla oblongata, midbrain, pons and all. All these are the structures. The same structure, it is the extension of the brain which is going to extend till here. Till L2, lumbar second vertebra. What happens in lumbar second vertebra? It's going to divide into tuft of nerves. We call it as cauda equina. Cauda equina. Go back to your anatomy. All medical students. So there is a tuft of nerve, and from there, from cauda equina, that is from L4, L5, S1, S2, S3. What is this? Root of sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve is the longest and thickest nerve in the human body. Please remember that. That is the one which is going to come out through this L4, L5, S1, S2, S3. So here it is going to come down. That longest and thickest nerve which is going to go down. You might have experienced this sciatica, that is a disease. We call it as gridrasi in Ayurveda. Is it not? That which is going to pain you a lot. Usually the females, they suffer from this sciatica, sciatic nerve pain. It's all related to the endocrine system also. It is related to the reproductive system also, where the swelling of the sciatic nerve happens, and where and all it is going, till the tip of their toe, they are going to little toe, they are going to get pain. They can't even walk. That is inflammation throughout the sciatic nerve. That is the path, wherever it is going. That is only, we call it as sciatic nerve, which is going to go down. So don't think that brain is only here, because brain is made up of what type of structures? 3 meninges we have. They are called as meninges of the brain. What are the meninges? Okay, we all know dura mater, pia mater, and arachnoid mater. So these are the 3 structures, layers, which we call it as meninges. You might have heard meningitis, is it not? You might have heard. The meningitis means what? Inflammation of these meninges. That's what we call it as brain fever. Okay, so that's how the brain is made up of these 3 layers, and the same is going to continue even in the vertebral column till the end, cauda equina. That's why I told you, brain is not only here, it is going to extend up to the back. Okay. Now, we are connected with this structure. The one and the only bone which is placed horizontal in this human body is what? This is the one. Can you just see and tell me, is there any bone like this placed in horizontal way here? No. There is no bone which is placed horizontally in the human body except for clavicle. What is clavicle called as? Because collar sits on that. It is a collar bone. It is also called as baby bone. It is also called as fashion bone. Why it is called as fashion? Because it is in the form of S-shaped. So that's why it is called as fashion. You can see the front elevation and the back. It is a wonderful bone. It is the one and the only bone, and it is the first bone to ossify in the human body. You should know what is ossification. The formation of the bone. This is the one, first bone. But there are many kids, they born without clavicle only. There are many variations where we see they don't have clavicle only. Okay. That condition and all, let me not tell all those things. So there are where naturally the clavicle is absent. Okay. Cleidocranial dysostosis, that is the condition where the clavicle is absent in that individual only. It looks like the shoulder both are merged together. No clavicle, right? So that is a condition. Okay. Now this is the flat bone which we have, we call it as sternum. Sternum is a flat bone. Behind this sternum only we have superior mediastinum, and that is the place for thymus gland. And this is the rib cage. How many ribs are there? 12. Be careful. It is not just 12 pairs of ribs. We have 12 pairs of ribs which are going to connect to the sternum. 7 are connecting to the sternum, and the rest 5 are not connected. It is connected to the costal arch. So that's why we call first 7 ribs as true ribs, and the rest of the 5 ribs we call it as false ribs. So this is the rib. Rib 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. 11th and 12th are called as floating ribs because it is not having any connection here. But posterior side, all the vertebra, T1 to T12, they are connected. And this is thoracic cage, what we call it as. We accommodate lungs. How many lungs are there? 2. A pair of lungs. Right lung has how many lobes? 3. Left lung has how many lobes? 2. Please understand, all BSc. Day after tomorrow, you have exam. So, right lung has 3 lobes, left lung has 2 lobes. Another space of 3rd lobe is occupied by the heart. That's the reason. Heart is, look at, what is the size of the heart? Yes. Size of your own fist, not somebody else. Your own fist is the size of your heart. Heart is located and it is deviated little bit to the left side. And this is the area we call it as abdomen. Abdomen has no bones. All abdominal viscera only. Chest or the thorax is separated from the abdomen by a membrane, we call it as diaphragm. Diaphragm is the one which is going to separate the chest from the abdomen. So the structure is there. Now we go to this upper limb here. Clavicle is connected to here laterally to the scapula. See, we have a pair of scapula. It's a triangle bone which is going to get connected to the clavicle in the lateral end to the acromion process in the scapula. We call it as acromioclavicular joint. And we have the arm bone. This arm bone is called as humerus. And we have forearm bones, radius and ulna. And we have the bones in the hand. Okay, now I will test your anatomy knowledge. Those who know a little bit. Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. Arey, haath utao na? If I am asking raise your hand, you should raise only this much. Because this is only hand. That is the biggest misconception in common language, that raise your hand means you raise your hand. Everything is not hand. Everything is not hand. This is only hand. If I ask you to raise your hand, this much only. That means I will come to know you know anatomy very well. This is hand, this is forearm, this is arm. In the same way, where is leg? Which portion is called as leg? Not everything. The portion between the knee and the ankle is only called as leg. Above the ankle, above the knee, it is called as thigh. Below the ankle, we call it as foot. So now you understand the perfect definition of hand and leg. Okay? So this is how it is called as hand. And wonderful bones are there here. Now I will tell you something spirituality here which is hidden in this hand. How many bones are there in this hand? Anybody has any idea? I expect from Ayurveda and BDS doctors. What is this? What are all the? This is something very, very divine number. See, how many carpal bones are there? Okay, hand is divided into carpal, metacarpal, phalanges. How many carpals? 8 carpals. How many metacarpals?
5.
Okay, how many phalanges?
14.
Arey, count Baba, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You can't see the answer is in your hand. आप देख के भी नहीं बोल सकते, कॉपी भी नहीं मार सकते, तो क्या फायदा? When I am asking some question, you should answer. How many phalanges? Phalanges are 14 in number. Okay? 27 bones. कभी सोचा था कि हाथ में इतने सारे हड्डियां हैं? 27 bones, if it is coming and slapping your area, तो आदमी मर सकता है. You know how many bones are coming and contacting your cheek? Somebody is going to slap you. 27 bones. What is this 27? 27 is something spiritual number. 2 plus 7, 9. 9 is the supreme number in philosophy. In numerology also. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After 9, no new number. You are going to repeat the same number. Even if you count infinite also, you are going to count only between 0 to 9. So 9 is supreme number. 9 is the number God. So your hand, that's why you do Namaskara Mudra. Why this Mudra? 27 plus 27, 54. Again, once again, 9 number. This is the meaning. You don't know the meaning of what is this Namaskara. Why do you do this Namaskara Mudra? See, shaking hand is somebody's culture. It is not our culture. But still we are slaves of British yesterday, I told you already. Is it not? Because, shaking hand is somebody's culture. It is not our culture. Our culture is to do Namaskara. If I shake hand with you, I will come to know your weakness. How? Yeah, our hands and feet are the two places where our electromagnetic radiation, the energy, which we call it as prana shakti, that is going to go out of our body and enter into our body. This is beautiful. That's why when God created this hand, He created with 27 bones, giving the significance as number 9, that is supreme. That's why ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ಹಾಡಿದೆ. ಭಗವಂತ ಕೈ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಯಾಕೆ? ದುಡಿಯೋಕಂತ. ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಎತ್ತುವೆ? ಹೊಡೆಯೋಕಂತ. What a beautiful philosophy in this. Wonderful philosophy is there in lyrics. This is hand. 27 bones are there. 27 plus 27. And when we do this, when we do this and bow our head, what is the opposite person will do? If he is an elderly person, he will just do like this. Is it not? Just for posing for a photograph, he is doing like this. No? No. What is blessing? What is that blessing which you are getting when you do like this? Some people are going to touch your head also like this. When you touch the head, your electromagnetic radiation, the energy, the prana shakti is going to transfer. When you do this, you don't want to give your energy to others. You want to seek energy from others. That's why you close. What do you mean by this Namaskara Mudra? You are closing your energy and you are touching it to the heart. Where is your thumb when you do this? Exactly touching the thymus gland. Is it not? That means you are showing your respect to your thymus gland and as well as the opposite person. Because thymus gland is the place where the soul is there, super soul, Paramatma is also there only. That is the reason why you close. You never knew why do we do like this. When we bow our head and do like this, the other person, if he is of the same age, he will also do like this. If he is elderly man, definitely he will say Ayushman Bhava or whatever the blessings he wants, he will give. Is it not? So this is the meaning of this hand. And another beautiful thing I will tell you, which is connected with this philosophy of this hand. 27 bones I told you already. And another thing is, there is a concept called as mudra. You know mudra? What is this mudra? You know what is the meaning of this?
It activates
Meaning.
pituitary gland.
Very important, I will tell you. Many people, sannyasis, they give pose like this. But they themselves may not know what is the meaning of this. See, this is God. Please remember, this is God. Thumb is God. What is this index finger? Index finger is soul. Jiva. Index finger is soul. This is God. And what are these things? When soul is associated with these three, avidya, kama and karma. What is this? Avidya. Avidya means ignorance. Kama means material desires. Karma means material action. When the soul is associated with this avidya, kama and karma, God is always away from the soul. Or the soul is always away from the God. What a beautiful concept here. But when the soul is associated with material desires, ignorance and material activities, it is always away from the God. Or God is always away from the soul. When the same avidya, kama and karma are getting transformed into jnana, bhakti and vairagya, automatically the soul bends towards God. What a way, beautiful way of concept of Mudra. Please understand this.
But
This is fantastic.